December 16th, 2025 regular meeting of the CUSD 201 Board of Education. Roll call.
Leah Conover.
Here.
Carlos Avia.
Here.
Alexandria Mill.
Here.
Adina Hoover. Kevin Marin.
Here.
Stand for the pledge, please. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. We are going to move into the approval of minutes. The chair will entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the November 18th, 2025 regular meeting of the Board of Education as presented.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. The chair will entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the closed session of the November 18th, 2025 regular meeting of the Board of Education as presented.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. The chair will entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the December 2nd, 2025 special meeting of the Board of Education as presented.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. The chair will entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the closed session of the December 2nd, 2025 special meeting of the Board of Education as presented.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion passes. Okay, and we are on to our procedural items. The chair will entertain a motion for the appointment of Timothy Horman to the Board of Education of Community Unit School District 201 to fill the vacancy of Jessica Radonio until the April 2027 consolidated election, and Heather Franklin to the Board of Education of Community Unit School District 201 to fill the vacancy of Lauren Zakiri until the April 2027 consolidated election.
So moved. Second.
Roll call.
Mr. Avia.
Yes.
Mr. Marin.
Yes.
Miss Mill.
Yes.
Miss Conover.
Yes. Motion passes. If I could have you guys stand up, then like come right over here. Okay, so we're going to do the oath of office. Repeat after me. I state your name. Do solemnly swear or affirm that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of member of the Board of Education of Community Unit School District 201 in accordance with the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the State of Illinois, and the laws of the State of Illinois to the best of my ability.
I, Timothy Horman, do solemnly swear that I will faithfully discharge the duties of office of the member of the Board of Education of Community Unit School District 201 in accordance with the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the State of Illinois, and the laws of the State of Illinois to the best of my ability.
I, Heather Franklin, do solemnly swear that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of member of the Board of Education, Community Unit School District 201, in accordance with the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the State of Illinois, and the laws of the State of Illinois to the best of my ability.
I further swear or affirm that
I further swear or affirm that
I shall respect taxpayer interests by serving as a faithful protector of the school district's assets.
I shall respect taxpayer interests by serving as a faithful protector of the school district's assets.
I shall respect taxpayer interests by serving as a faithful protector of the school district's assets.
I shall encourage and respect the free expression of opinion by my fellow board members and others who seek a hearing before the board while respecting the privacy of students and employees.
I shall encourage and respect the free expression of opinion by my fellow board members and others who seek a hearing before the board while respecting the privacy of students and employees.
I shall encourage and respect the free expression of opinion by my fellow board members and others who seek a hearing before the board while respecting the privacy of students and employees.
I shall recognize that a board member has no legal authority as an individual and that decisions can be made only by a majority vote at a public board meeting.
I shall recognize that a board member has no legal authority as an individual and that decisions can be made only by a majority vote at a public board meeting.
recognize that a board member has no legal authority as an individual and that decisions can be made only by a majority vote at a public board meeting.
I shall abide by majority decisions of the board while retaining the right to seek changes in such decisions through ethical and constructive channels.
I shall abide by a majority decision of the board while retaining the right to seek changes in such decisions through ethical and constructive channels.
I shall abide by majority decisions of the board while retaining the right to seek changes in such decisions through ethical and constructive channels.
As part of the Board of Education, I shall accept the responsibility for my role in the equitable and quality education of every student in the school district.
As part of the Board of Education, I shall accept the responsibility of my role in the equitable and quality education of every student in the school district.
As part of the Board of Education, I shall accept the responsibility for my role in the equitable and quality education of every student in the school district.
I shall foster with the board extensive participation of the community, formulate goals, define outcomes, and set the course for Community Unit School District 201.
I shall foster with the board extensive participation in the community or of the community, formulate goals, define outcomes, and set the course for Community Unit District 201.
I shall foster with the board extensive participation of the community, formulate goals, define outcomes, and set the course for Community Unit School District 201.
I shall assist in establishing a structure and an environment designed to ensure all students have the opportunity to attain their maximum potential through a sound organizational framework.
I shall assist in establishing a structure and an environment designed to ensure all students have the opportunity to attain their maximum potential through a sound organizational framework.
I shall strive to ensure a continuous assessment of student achievement and all conditions affecting the education of our children in compliance with state law.
I shall strive to ensure continuous assessment of student achievement and all conditions affecting the education of our children in compliance with state law.
I shall assist in establishing a structure and an environment designed to ensure all students have the opportunity to attain their maximum potential through a sound organizational framework. I shall strive to ensure a continuous assessment of student achievement and all conditions affecting the education of our children in compliance with state law.
I shall serve as education's key advocate on behalf of students and our community schools to advance the vision of Community Unit School District 201.
I shall serve as education's key advocate on behalf of students and our community schools to advance the vision of Community School District 201.
I shall serve as education's key advocate on behalf of students and our community schools to advance the vision for Community Unit School District 201.
And I shall strive to work together with the district superintendent to lead the school district toward fulfilling the vision the board has created, fostering excellence for every student in the areas of academic skills, knowledge, citizenship, and personal development.
And I shall strive to work together with the district superintendent to lead the school district toward fulfilling the vision the board has created, fostering excellence for every student in the area of academic skills, knowledge, citizenship, and personal development.
I shall strive to work together with the district superintendent to lead the school district forward, fulfilling the vision of the board has created, fostering excellence for every student in the areas of academic skills, knowledge, citizenship, and personal development.
Welcome. Can we get a picture, Shannon?
Yeah, we can do that.
Jack?
Is that-
Yeah, Jack wore a suit
Yeah.
today.
And then if we can get one of the whole board
Yep.
here. and we can
Oh,
get
I
on.
dressed
You guys should have just expected that.
I always forget.
We'll take another one in January.
I'm surviving, not thriving right now.
We'll take another team photo in January.
Okay,
and
sounds good.
We'll
Yeah.
be all dressed up for that one.
I'm barely
The
making it
center,
through the
Jack.
day.
Go with our two new
See that with
board.
your monster at 8 o'clock in the evening.
Yep.
Or 6:40.
6:40, give me a little credit.
Still.
And I'll still fall asleep by 10.
Are they centered under the W?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what's sick.
We need to get like a 201.
It's not ours. We do need to get a 2-0. Oh, like a magnetic one, like toss it up there every night.
You just made her heart stop.
excited.
You did, I saw it.
All right.
Okay, whole board.
To put all this together, do you want all in now?
Everybody.
Everybody's up there.
Oh, Tina's not here yet. No, let's get.
Tina's coming?
Yes, she is.
Oh,
Well, then let's wait for Adina.
We'll do it after. Yep. She will be here tonight.
now you guys can have a seat. You put your name tags up.
Have a seat.
Name.
Good, how are you?
Hey. After all that excitement,
Yeah.
the chair will entertain a motion to enter closed session to discuss specific employees, student discipline, and potential litigation.
So move.
Second.
Roll call.
Mr. Avia?
Yes.
Mr. Marin?
Yes.
Miss Mill?
Yes.
Mr. Horman?
Yes.
Miss Franklin?
Yes.
Miss Conover?
Yes. We'll be back.
All right.
Closed. We're going to move on to the public hearing on the tentative tax levy. And what do I say for this one? Calling to order. Okay. I call to order the public hearing regarding the proposed 2025 tax levy at 7:17 p.m.
Wonderful. Dr. Balderman, Board of Education, thanks for having me once again, like every other day. Today's the preliminary tax levy presentation that we're hoping to approve. I just wanted to walk through some scenarios and discuss what we're looking at for this given year. Okay, the TV is going faster than the computer. That's crazy. Okay, so here we go. So the levy calendar is as seen. I have to stress again how archaic the state of Illinois can be with its tax levy and how we determine how much money comes into the school districts. So, for example, you're looking at January 15th of earlier this year. We get to find out how much the increase was over the prior year's extension. January 15th, so that means it's a December CPI for 2024. Why is it that date? It's just been put and codified, so that's just kind of how it goes. I wish I had a simpler answer. On November 18th, we had the public hearing on the levy. Today, we're having action on it, and with the potential reduction of levies if need be, which we'll discuss. And then by the end of the month, the levy must be filed with the county by the last Tuesday in December, or the district will never see its money for that particular levy. So if you look at definitions, again, the equalized assessed value is property wealth. The property tax extension limitation law is as follows. What you receive, what it's extended to you in the prior year, if it's 5% or more, you have to go to a public hearing. However, we do it out of the spirit of transparency. The property tax levy is the amount that we're asking for. We're levying for it. We're asking. So I know that this is going to be another boring story, but I did mention my son, Ronnie, the other day with the board, stating he always used to ask me for money before he got a job at McDonald's. Actually, he still asks for money. So, for example, he'll say, hey, Dad, I need $5. All right, I'll give you the $5. I'll give you, hey, 15, sure, there you go. 25, I'm like, okay, 20. So I ask you for 50, still giving you 20. I extend him the money. I know how much I'm going to give him. He has no idea. So it's a guessing game for him. This is us right now as a school district, that we are in the guessing game to try and predict how much. If we don't ask for enough, we lose it. If we do ask for enough, we're good. If he could have asked me for $1 million, I would have laughed at him. But he'd still get $20. That's how the state of Illinois does its tax levy. It's just essentially how it is. The extension then, as we've seen, it's given after we figure out our final property values and new constructions, so that it's not exactly a science that we know of right away because that hasn't been released just yet. So the steps are as follows. The county's the one that gives us the money. The school district doesn't necessarily tax. It's the county, right? So the county assessor will look at the property, evaluate it. Then in the meantime, municipalities, such as, like, let's say we have another brother or sister, the fire department, the police department, the school district, they're asking for their amount. They're levying for it. The assessor, in the meantime, is going to determine that. They're going to extend how much they're going to do. We just don't know it yet. We're trying to figure that out. Collections then occur in 2026 once they figure it out and they say, okay, actually, you're going to be able to get this. And then the municipalities receive the money from the county. So this is kind of an interesting little picture of it. There's the original levy. Cook County does what's called the loss percentage. I know we don't really have to know about it, but it just kind of goes to show you how transparent DuPage is. Cook County typically gives you a 3% loss. So if you're not levying, let's say 0%, you're actually levying for 3. They give you like a sort of freedom there. No other county does that, go figure. That's at the time we don't even know how much the value of the property is. So once we know what it is, then everything kind of comes into play. Again, it's archaic. So how the property taxes work, when your value of your homes go down, typically your tax rate's going to go up. And this is vice versa. So when you see a more wealthier area, such as a Barrington, they have a lot of high-value houses out there, but the rates are so much lower. When you see some of the south suburban districts, like I grew up in Dalton, they have really low property values, their tax rates are through the roof. Because the extension is what matters. It's what you've gotten prior year. So in these two instances, even though the values changed over time, the rate makes up for it to make sure that the district gets its $1,049,400. It's simple math. Again, it's based off of CPI. So there's the December CPI over the past couple years. You look at 2015, you went down to 0.7%. So that's what school districts were entitled to. 2.1, 2.1, 1.9. Once COVID hit and the state or the feds actually flushed the money into the system, you see 7%, 6.5%. So 2.9% is what we see here for our given year. There's a reason though why we're going beyond 2.9. It includes new property, it includes anything that could particularly happen with industrial or commercial, so that's why you'll see us go above 2.9. Because we do potentially get over 2.9%, even though the Consumer Price Index says that. So last year's extension, you'll see it was approximately $29,910,770. That also includes the bond and interest. Bond and interest is what you owe, right? We don't necessarily say, hey, could we, unless you talk to the county. There's other buckets, though, there, if you can see, and some of them are already capped. Operations and maintenance is 55 cents. Working cash is a nickel. And fire prevention and life safety is 10 cents. Special ed's 40 cents. So those you can't go above. They cap that for a reason so that you can't overdraw. But an ed fund, transportation, those two in particular, you can increase if need be. So this year's levy, we're discussing based on the bonds as well as the education fund, operation and maintenance to play it safe, because we don't know the property values just yet. We don't know what's happening. There's a lot of unknown variables. It was a 4.72% increase of an ask. Doesn't mean we're getting it. That's just us saying if taxes from the extension from the prior year go up to 4.72%, we can capture it. If it goes 4.75, we lose money. If it goes up to 5%, we left money on the table. So we are asking right now for the 4.72 so that it can cover the bond and interest, it can cover the ed fund, operations and maintenance, transportation, just a bunch of what we need. As an aside, there are districts who I've seen who've under-levied in the past. I will never recommend that. I think there are other ways to go about it, but it's about being careful because the minute you do that, and then the district needs some sort of funding for, let's just say, structural, operations and maintenance, building, but you left money on the table years ago and that compounds, therefore you never get that money back, and now you're going to net money. So that's just something to think about. There is a presentation. Any questions, please? Again, we didn't go over 5%. We didn't even need a truth in taxation, but it's about transparency, and that's what we're bringing.
Can you speak a little bit, Ron, about kind of the different methods behind levying? Because in previous years, we've typically kind of over-asked in order to make sure that we didn't leave any money on the table, essentially. Can you just kind of talk a little bit about like some of the different methods that are used and why you prefer to use a more kind of exacting method, if you will?
Yeah, definitely. So for example, when I was in District 300 doing my internship, we were balloon levying. It was 20%, 30% of an ask because it was such a large square footage and there was so much construction happening that we couldn't tell you what was happening and why. There is a district up north that the business manager just resigned actually on. He was asking for 46% levy without any rhyme or reason. To me, to be more precise means we're actually kind of looking and seeing and doing our homework. This is my first 5-6 months here, and I'm not trying to make any excuses because I always expect me to do the best that exists. But for me, this was not just a safe number, but it was also able to capture whatever I couldn't tell with the property values that have been going on over time. The other thing to keep in mind is I'm still trying to get a pulse on the industrial and commercial piece. That can play a role in how much we receive, because the more they generate, the less of a tax burden is on the residents. And that is something to keep in mind with Westmont. 90% of the funds in general for the district is local. And within that 90%, an exorbitant amount of it is on the resident, but the commercial and industrial isn't as strong as it could be in other places. So that's something I do like that the community keeps in mind, because that does play a role in how the taxes are going.
And the 5% cap is the 5% CPI, but that's not inclusive of new property growth, right?
It would be. So if you, that's why people levy over the 5%, so that they could capture the new property if there is a lot of it.
But we don't have,
Right.
we don't have any new property growth because of our TIF.
The TIF and the fact that the district is pretty landlocked. I mean, I think the thing we'll see next is some of the McMansions coming in here. That might actually generate some revenues over time. But yeah, the TIF has frozen what we can.
The biggest area that we would have the biggest property growth is the TIF.
Correct.
So essentially, it's like whatever new, it has to be new homes that are built
Correct, and that would be a huge influx.
outside of the TIF, yeah.
But the TIF is, yeah, that's not for another, I mean, there's a lot of time still on that.
Okay. Are there any additional comments from members of the Board of Education?
No.
Are there any public comments concerning the proposed 2025 tax levy? Okay. I declare that the public hearing on the proposed 2025 tax levy is closed at 7:29. Thank you, Ron.
Thanks, Ron.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, back to our regularly scheduled meeting. Do we have any normal public comment? Okay, great. So then we're going to move on to the consent agenda. The chair will entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented. Personnel recommendations: Garrett Witt, teaching assistant; Robert Slowick, junior high volunteer; John Sleeper, junior high volunteer; resignations and retirement. Number 2, approval of additional November and December 2025 expenditure report. Number 3, ratification of the November 2025 regular payroll. Number 4, student tours, Westmont High School and
Westmont Junior High.
Westmont Junior High. Number 5, approval of the 2025-2026 concussion oversight team. And number 6, approval of concussion protocols.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Mr. Avia?
Yes.
Mr. Marin?
Yes.
Ms. Mill?
Yes.
Mr. Orman?
Abstain.
Ms. Franklin?
Yes.
Ms. Conover?
Yes.
No, Dr. Hooper, okay.
Motion passes. Information and discussion. The high school sign is up.
So before you tonight, we have a team of leaders from the high school to present information about a new signboard at Westmont High School. The board was provided information in their packet, some background info. I don't want to steal their thunder, but the one thing I would keep in mind is the sign is more than antiquated. It's 40 years old or older. It still has to be changed by hand. And this is the first thing that people see as they enter into our building for the next 25 or 30 years. So I'll let them make their presentation, and then it's time for the board, of course, to discuss and ask questions. Thank you for being here. Could everybody introduce themselves?
Absolutely. My name is Larissa Zalisco. I'm a school counselor at Westmont High School, and I've worked in the district now for 20 years.
My name is Jamie Mahmoud. I've been with the high school for 20 years, and Lori and I are serving as the Hackbrush Grant Committee.
I'm Laura Erasmus. I'm a science teacher at the high school. This is my 26th year as a teacher at the high school. I, along with Jamie, also graduated from Westmont High School, and I serve on the Hackbrush Committee as well.
My name is Courtney Templeton. I've been teaching at the high school for 5 years. I have 2 sons who are Westmont High School graduates, all the way through CUSD 201. And I have lived in the Oakwood subdivision, and so I've been passing by said antiquated sign for 23 years.
I'll go first. Just as a graduate of Westmont and a former student of Mrs. Hackbrush's, Jerry, it's so weird for me to refer to her as Jerry since she was my teacher for all those years. She was a Westmont high school science teacher also for a very long time, and was really an ardent supporter of all things Westmont High School. She not only taught multiple science classes, she was a sponsor of National Honor Society. She was very involved in multiple extracurricular activities. She was very supportive of all activities, even if she wasn't the direct faculty sponsor of them. You would see her very often at football games, basketball games, even outside at, I remember seeing her on the finish line of some track meets out there with a stopwatch in the cold and the rain, at every play, at every musical, and then of course in her role as the National Honor Society sponsor, was very involved in a lot of the events that we ran at the school. She was very generous upon her unfortunate passing that left a portion of her estate to Westmont High School for the betterment of students and staff at Westmont High School. Dr. Balderman at that time was our principal and asked if Jamie and I, as we were alumni and familiar with Mrs. Hackbrush and had been students of hers, I also was a colleague of hers for a short time, if we would kind of head up and spearhead the efforts to serve on the committee and help kind of direct the types of projects that we thought Mrs. Hackbrush would appreciate at the high school, and kind of keeping in the spirit of Mrs. Hackbrush and also in the spirit of her gift. And so I will be happy to turn it over to Jamie, who'll talk a little bit about our application process, but I will also echo what Dr. Balderman said a couple minutes ago with just a personal anecdote that I had the pleasure of being in the National Honor Society when Mrs. Hackbrush was the sponsor. I didn't say my graduation year, I'd prefer not to maybe, but I will say that it was over 30 years ago, and I will say that even then she was lamenting the quality of the signboard and how there was only the opportunity to display one event, and some of our NHS events didn't get on the signboard because there were kind of other events that needed to be prioritized, and I don't want to use colorful language in present company, but she was not a fan of that, and I truly honestly think, having heard her opinions 30 years ago on the signboard, which is still the board that we're using, that she would be very pleased to see this updated and upgraded for students and staff and the community, quite frankly.
Thanks, Lori.
Sure.
As Lori mentioned, and I don't know how I forgot to mention that, yes, we are proud alums of Westmont schools. I started at Miller School and graduated from Westmont High School. And that's, the reason why we come back. We love this place. We love this community. We love the people of Westmont. We love the staff members that we get to work with every single day. We love our Board of Education. We love our administration. And in the spirit of that support that we have for this community and the time we've given to the community and intend to give, we really feel that we were blessed in receiving this gift from Jerry Hackbrush. She was a champion for all students. She pushed students. My anecdote is I was placed into biology freshman year of high school. That wasn't something that typically happened back then. And I had this concern that I would be picked on as a nerd. And so I attempted to underachieve in order to avoid being labeled a nerd. Jerry really took much time. She worked with my parents, she sat with me, she sat with administration, and really pushed me to achieve everything that I was capable of achieving, and really helped to foster that self-confidence that I feel I have today. So I'm very grateful to Jerry. And Lori and I, this is our second year. We did start the work before COVID, and we had to put everything on hold. But Jack really wanted to get the ball rolling last year, so we were able to award grants. We awarded a grant for the piano that we're currently using in the auditorium. We were able to award a grant for a printer for the art department's students to be able to print large format artwork. We were also able to award a grant for the creation of a sensory room that is currently being used on the student services side of the building. This year, we received applications and were able to approve 3 more projects. Lori and I approved a project for a portable sound system for the music department. We approved some new kitchen equipment for the Family and Consumer Sciences department. And lastly, we were able to approve this project, the signboard. We feel very passionately about the need for us to showcase our accomplishments, to showcase the events that we are, using all of the students' wonderful talents for, and we really need to get word out there. It will really help us to make the community aware, and again, to bring the community in and to keep them involved in what we're doing and aware of what we're doing, because I know the community is proud of us and proud of our students. Larissa is going to talk more about her proposal and her application that she submitted in conjunction with Courtney.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Dr. Balderman, members of the board, I was so happy to submit this application because it is something that we have been talking about for quite a while, as you've heard, at Westmont High School. As part of the packet information that you have in front of you today, Courtney and I drafted a letter that I do want to make sure I read very briefly portions of that. Westmont High School is an award-winning institution. Our students are accomplished, intelligent, compassionate. We started this electronic signboard, Courtney and I, in August 2024 to do what's best for our students, our school, community. We have so much to celebrate, and our current sign only allows for 2 very short messages. Our goal is to highlight more of our accomplishments, share important information, and also create a monument in front of our building that will evoke pride in our school community. We also appreciate our school district's commitment to being fiscally responsible. We share this commitment and pursued this funding through a donation to the high school. Since Westmont Junior High School signboard was purchased in 2021, the cost of electronic signboards has increased. The high school, both as a school and a highly utilized building, has more information to share, which is why we proposed a slightly larger sign than the junior high school for broader, more inclusive, and varied visibility. To clarify, it's slightly smaller still than our existing signboard. Finally, we plan to publicly document on the signboard that it was donated by Jerry Hackbrush so that our community understands that this former Westmont High School teacher donated part of her estate to benefit our students and staff and community. In her memory, we want to do what is best for Westmont High School. When we started this project, we collected a lot of information, and that is also documented in the information we've shared with you today. In your board docs, if you could find the Hackbrush staff presentation, this is something that Jamie and Lori shared out with our staff for the last 2 years. Our specific Hackbrush grant application is included as well, so that's information that Courtney and I put together as part of this application. There is also information about local schools. So we reviewed many of the local signboards in DuPage County. There's a total of 22 of them, and those schools, having had electronic signboard, we tried reaching out to those districts. Some of them don't remember when they received electronic signboards. Some of them I knew. For example, having been in the DuPage County for a while, I remember in 1999 when Hinsdale Central received their electronic signboard, because this was a big thing and it was in the newspaper quite a bit in 1999 that they were getting this modern age board. There are only 2 districts, again, comparing ourselves to the great school ratings, that 2 high schools that do not have an electronic signboard. They're the Downers Grove North and Downers Grove South schools, and they are not allowed to have electronic signboards because of village ordinances. So they're too close to the main streets to be able to have that. So that information is something we collected as part of this project. We also have written confirmation from a number of different organizations in Westmont that are in support of this new electronic signboard. Our high school administration, and I'm very grateful to Dr. Weck for his support. Also being fiscally responsible, he's somebody that we spoke to as part of this project, and he encouraged us to explore avenues of revenue to support this project so that it isn't a burden to our school district. The Jerry Hackbrush grant was the perfect place for us to do that. Our Westmont High School department coordinators, our athletic department, our athletic band boosters organization, our band boosters, our Westmont High School alumni support, our Westmont High School Teachers Association is in support of this, and finally the Oakwood Homeowners Association is in support of that. And one of the other documents that we've included is the letter of support from the Oakwood Homeowners Association, that they are in support of this project as well. Finally, we have a short list in no particular order of different groups, organizations, events that the sign could support. High school events that we advertise on an annual basis, also district events that we advertise, since many of the elementary and junior high school events are housed at the high school, as well as local Westmont events, people who come to Westmont High School for their events as well. So those are additional documents. The specs of the signboard are included in there as well. I have learned so much personally about what signboards are about. This is not my area of expertise, but now I know things like what hex colors are and what PMS colors are, and these are not things that I've ever known. I've also learned that this new signboard, because of the changes in technology, even since the junior high school board was enacted, they have really cool things that they do where they dim the lights, for example. So another thing we spoke about with the Oakwood Homeowners Association is that the lights can be dimmed so that it does not cause a disruption to residents in the area, and also that in spirit of Jerry Hackbrush, who is a science teacher, could help prevent issues with bird migration. So when our sandhill cranes are flying overhead at a certain time, we can dim the lights so as not to disrupt them. So there's a lot of thought that went into this, and all of that is, again, included here. The next two documents are actual pictures of the Westmont High School current signboard, and you can see how it is not representative of who we are, I don't think, as a high school. The lights broke this year, so that's something else to consider. We're not talking about repairs at this point. The lights are broken on it. There are letters and numbers starting to crack and break. So we have been very creative in how we have had to put up some of the sign messages now. So we've, for example, used the number 7 to turn it around and make it into an L. So I think we're definitely at the point that this signboard project was very timely. And those are all of the information points that I wanted to share. Oh, and then the last handout I have is this one. Thank you very much, Courtney. And this highlights what the sizes look like. I know that was a question that we were asked by the Oakwood Homeowners Association. The current sign at the high school is 9.4 feet. The proposed one is 9 feet, so slightly smaller, but similar in size. And then the junior high school sign is a 7-foot height. So that's where we stand as far as signs go. As part of our application, we did also talk a lot about Jerry Hackbrush, and we learned a lot from Jamie and from Lori, and I do appreciate the stories that they have shared as former students. I also personally reached out to other members of our faculty that had retired in the last 13 years, 15 years, and 17 years to get their anecdotal stories about Jerry Hackbrush, to find out a little bit more, because I did not know her. I didn't work with her, and I wanted to find out a little bit more about her, who she was, and if this project would be in her spirit. And I learned, as one example, that she would carpool many times with another staff member every day to school so that they could talk about strategies and ways to improve the school. Also, they wanted to save on gas. So and she wanted to be environmentally friendly. There were so many things about her that I learned that just really made me respect her even more. And again, to do this in her memory, I think is honorable, and I appreciate having the opportunity to put that on our signboard, to be able to say that this was donated by Jerry Hackbrush, because I think that's really a wonderful thing for us to do as a high school. And I'm going to turn it over to Courtney if you have anything else to add.
I'm just here to answer questions.
Perfect. So I think that...
I'll say, this is just sort of anecdotal. The only time that this antiquated sign benefited me was that my son who graduated last year was the student of the year. And so he was up there for like 3 months. Otherwise, yes, I think that's the only good thing that's come out of that sign in the 23 years I've lived in Westmont.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's the only time. Yes, it's still there.
Are there any questions for us?
So after the grant, does the grant cover everything, I guess, is what I'm asking? So there's no financial...
Electricity.
Yeah, sorry, electricity.
Okay.
That was my only question.
Sounds great.
No, yeah, my only question was, does the grant cover the cost of the sign?
Yes,
Absolutely.
fully, including permits and,
Take down.
removal of
Yeah,
the
right.
old one and
Right.
installation of the new one. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm really in favor. I think the sign needs to go, for sure. Has anybody reached out to junior high? Because they recently, past couple of years, they put their sign in, so any kind of difficulties they had, maybe an idea?
I remember some of that.
Yeah, exactly.
Adina and I was the PTO president when that was happening. We did not finance that sign at all. We did finance the sign that went on the side of the building, and Joe helped with, there was the permitting such, but I think once it was there, people were thrilled.
Yeah,
And
I agree.
I have not heard of any negative remarks. I mean, I think at first, Oakwood was a little hesitant at first when they heard that this flashing thing was going to go up, but
I was thinking more of just any difficulties they had, like lessons learned.
Technical stuff, you mean?
Yeah.
I think Sabrina Ryman was like, this is not hard at all.
I remember...
I think definitely in terms of comparing it to, because it's all computer-based and somebody can stay indoors in the warm, in the nice heated building, and rather than hand pull a box with all the letters and numbers is giant, and to hand pull and make sure it's in the right order, because I know I've called Dr. Weck on my way out of school and been like, Dr. Weck, it's spelled wrong. You gotta get somebody out there and change it. So I think in terms of that, I think the friendliness to the user that's programming it is going to be a lot of time saved and a lot of headaches saved as well.
I think the students who put up the stuff for the craft fair initially this year, they had all these numbers, and I think they had it on the correct date, but the time was like 3 to 9 p.m.
Yes.
Because they had 9, they had 3, and they had 6 in their pile to take out. And then you had to send somebody back out in the snow to...
I saw that, and I went into school that day because I knew I'd be at the craft fair selling old yearbooks, and I said, oh no, I didn't realize I'd be there until 9 o'clock p.m. on Saturday. So I did go in and have to check. So you're absolutely right.
I remember, as far as difficulties, I remember the school being fine and the financing, but it was the permits. And it was always...
That's what I was thinking.
It was a hiccup that delayed it.
And Mr. Smith is all...
The level we had originally with Westmont does not allow you to put a digital sign in a residential area.
Okay.
So we had to get a special zoning request, we had to get a variance permit to their zoning rules about the sign. So we had to get that, and then we had an issue because junior high didn't have a plot survey.
Oh.
And for a while, the village was blocking it because of that.
Okay.
Didn't have the plot survey to go with the application.
So do we have a plat of survey on the high school?
High school we do, when they put in the lights for the football field.
Okay.
US Cellular paid to have one done.
Okay. And then on the zoning, the village has since updated some zoning. Are we going to have the same zoning challenges?
So the junior high application, we knew then that eventually the high school would come out
Someone wanted their children at the high school to have a sign.
Originally, the village actually wanted us to put one sign up this whole which we did not want to do because it wanted the water too much.
Right. Yeah.
So we worked with the village on their zoning rules. We worked with them with the HOA because they wanted to make sure the residents that were right there weren't going to be affected by the process. There's a lot of hoops to jump through originally. Now that we've done this the first time and they know that we have potential for the second one, that there would be an issue. Their big rule is the size of the digital screen in comparison to the overall size of the sign. So it's limited to 40%. You have to kind of ratio that out with making the big part of the sign big enough.
So this shows it here. That percentage is, we abide by those rules. Okay.
And then the other thing that you spoke on a little bit is it does automatically adjust the brightness, which is a big thing for light pollution.
I get that. Joe cares about bird migration.
Yeah. Well, there's the Dark Sky Initiative that there's some grant money there from the village too that, so my only ask is just that we've checked with them on the zoning side of things so that we can, just before moving forward, so we know what we're walking into fully.
Thank you. Any other questions? Anything else?
So the next steps, just to repeat, like how do we move from here, or what's the next step?
Well, and to that point, Ron, can you speak to why this is coming to us? Because it's not technically, it's over 35,000, which is any spend, needs to come to the board table, and also it's not actually us spend, it's a donation. So like, can you kind of just explain why it is still kind of coming through the board? We're not,
Absolutely. So just because it is a donation, once it's in the district's possession, the finances, we are held under certain laws, right? Illinois School Code. In this case, after talking with attorneys, even though this was over the $35,000 threshold, there is an exemption under the bidding process about technology. This falls under a technological purchase. Additionally, this company has worked with the district with the previous board lights. So we've already vetted them. They already know what to expect.
Okay. So it's coming to us as a bit of a courtesy. It's not a requirement for it to come through us, if I'm understanding that right?
Wow.
Even though it's
Maybe?
not taxpayer dollars, it's still district funds.
Yeah.
Because it was channeled through.
Yeah.
So it
It's a
has,
requirement.
any expenditure has to still go through the board.
Correct.
Okay. So to be ultra clear, it's not coming out of taxpayer funds.
Correct. It's
It
not.
is an expenditure by the board though, but not of taxpayer funds, which is why it is coming to us. Okay.
We would have wanted to present this anyway because we're so excited about it.
And to that point, what was nice is that when Larissa and the team discussed this, they also had 2 other grants that they awarded. So Hackbrush has actually been doing a lot of great things for the school.
Yeah.
It's just another highlight.
Yes,
Which
we did
was an
present
ask.
Yeah, they put it
last
on
year.
the
It was a little bit later
Yeah.
in the year, but
Yeah.
because of the time constraints and the anticipation that cost of materials will be going up after the first of the year on certain raw materials. We're happy to come back at the same time we did last year with all the proposals and highlight those, but we did want to make sure that we were able to secure this project with the original price and the original quote, so that we weren't paying more just because of a timeline.
Yeah.
And so back to the question, where do you go from here? What's the next step? The next step.
Can we get a jackhammer and like?
You're approved for.
We'll have the demo day. No, we're all set to go.
Yeah,
Larissa
on our
is in
end.
contact with the company, and Ron's got all the financial paperwork, so
Joe's working on it from his end.
Yep.
Yep.
It is not on tonight's action items, so it will be on,
Okay.
it's
But we can move that.
it'll be on the next.
Okay. In January?
Yeah.
But then, and then after that, they can move on. Construction? What do you call it that?
Demo first.
Demo.
We're going to preserve the top and hang it somewhere in the school and date it just so that people remember what once
What it
was.
looks like.
Like the rotary telephone?
Yes. use it as a prop.
There you go.
Auction off the letters, so.
I want that 7 that looks like an L.
That doesn't really look like an L, but I mean, you
gotta squint.
your eye.
Last piece, can we make all of the parts, all of the items on here in public comment? Because they're in admin content. They were, okay, okay, so they're in public now, great, awesome. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Okay. Policy. Who's taking on policy? To say for this one. Policy first reading.
Oh,
We're all looking at you.
oh boy. I should have taken better notes. We discussed. Sorry, I'm going, just basic changes that, there was a lot of changes that were made, that press recommends. God, I don't know where to go from there.
Well, we employ a company that uses attorneys to scour all the policy changes from the state, and then they're all outlined, and so that's what we pay for that service.
Right.
And so there was a policy meeting held tonight where those changes were reviewed. And so now we're moving forward with
those recommended changes from press that are reviewed by their lawyers, basically, so.
Yeah. I mean, it's not realistic for a school board member to be searching out all the policy changes, so we hire
Right.
Press Plus to do that work. Their attorneys make a presentation, they have a document with a series of changes. There were literally probably close to 40, and some of them are just a word change or a
footnote
phrase. So
Yeah.
to keep our policies updated.
So just one quick question. We're just going down the line with their recommendations. Is that correct?
That's what we pay them for.
No, no, I get it. I'm not suggesting that as a bad thing. I'm
Yes,
asking
of
the question
course.
point blank. I'm just saying, we're not going to deviate from what they've recommended.
Not at this time.
Yeah, and I don't think we historically really have deviated from
Nope,
what
I don't think we have either.
they would put out, so.
That would be the only comment I would even expect in this, honestly.
Are there any comments on the policy reading? Because your question does lead into the next Press Plus conversation.
I have none.
Oh, cool. So leading into Press Plus, we currently pay for Press, and Shannon did some research into, we've talked about Press Plus, upgrading essentially to Press Plus. I think it's come up a couple times in the last year or two. And so Shannon has done some research and has reached out to them to understand what that is, right, from all of the perspectives. And essentially, the Press Plus is a process to go through. And so what it would entail if we upgraded to Press Plus is a likely year-long process looking into all of our policies. So we would go into all of our policies. I hesitate to use the word customize, but make tweaks. We can make some language adjustments. We could, do essentially whatever we'd like to do with our policies from a board perspective. So originally we had thought that upgrading to Press Plus was more of an administration choice that we would support, but it is actually a board choice because the board members would need to do that work. So go through all of the policies that we currently have and align them with how we would like them to look, right? If we would like to use certain language, if we would like to adjust them, all those things. Me personally, I came to a policy meeting tonight because after doing my mandatory training, discipline training, it mentioned that good policy is one of the first steps and one of the things that board members do, and it reminded me that we haven't really
dug into
our policies. And that maybe, especially from an equity standpoint and from a board, from a board goal standpoint, we haven't really done that work. So this is essentially like a 12-month process. There'd be a number of meetings in between. It certainly does have a cost, although the cost is more than what we're paying right now. It's not, it is a cost increase. But the process to go through all the policies is managed by Press Plus and not us, which for me is...
Yeah, we'd get guidance on going through it, yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But it is an undertaking for the board. It does require commitment from the board. There's meetings in between, all of those things, so.
And it gets into our topic for our next one, but I was able to get some feedback from other boards that use this in our tri-conference.
Boy, aren't we tied together really beautifully?
It's actually more so not this year, but it was just, we had a policy, it was a policy, just learning more about it. So not to say I'm an expert on that, but there are some things and benefits of like our goals that we set, that we want to be clear with our policies and know, going through it, and it's a heavy feat for a board member to do alone, so.
So I actually went to one of the sessions at the conference on this, on Press and Press Plus, and I thought the way that they explained Press Plus and they really talked about how like we review our policies, Press Plus helps us like look at that, give suggestions, and then we work as a team. Like they laid it all out, I thought, really nicely, and I was going to bring it up at a meeting. Do we have the Press Plus? So I think for me, going to that meeting at the conference, it confirmed that like that's what we maybe should be doing, especially with so many new members, and just kind of the goal of any board should be to assess and evaluate and then kind of go from there if we need to make change, make changes. So, and this seemed like that was going to be the way to help us, because we are not, none of us are policy experts, and that's what this is.
Yeah, but we all have good intention behind it, right? But good intention doesn't, that's like a piece.
I like the idea with this Press Plus that it's a searchable database for terms for the admins, to quickly be able to find, policies on that subject,
And the attached, this was the other thing, Carla, that Carla mentioned, the administrative procedures are linked to it.
Right.
So you look up a policy, the admin team gets the linked admin, so it like, in a similar way to what Adam and Shannon and the team did with our handbooks, getting our and that took a year. It took a little bit longer than a year even, right? Like taking all of our school handbooks and aligning them and getting them online in a way that's much more user-friendly. It's from what I understand tonight, that's very, very similar to what the process with Press Plus is.
I have a few questions about this. One is this something that we can do and then turn off, right? I mean, once we do it?
Once we do like the process,
or is it also part of the online access and you got to keep it on?
I don't understand your question.
I'm sorry.
What do you mean turn on?
So we're going from one license to another license. That other license allows us to do things in terms of updating and streamlining our policies. But it also, I understand, as part of that is providing like an online access to those policies. That's part of the license itself. Is that correct?
Yes, they'll put it together and like create a web page. I'm not a tech person.
Right.
They'll put it together and it'll be easy where you can just click on the links or search it. It'll replace what we currently have.
Correct. And then if we decide we no longer want that subscription, what happens to all of that?
So is it
we
like,
go
is it
back
yearly?
to the olden days, like now, and then we just update them all and put them all on, create our own web page again, like it is displayed now. If you were to go back, I mean.
But we would have the policy.
We would have the policy.
We have done the work with the policies.
That's what I'm.
And the cost is all inclusive of that.
Right.
Of the cost is all inclusive of the process to go to Press Plus, the year process to go to Press Plus, and then the hosting and the other, like, once Press Plus is live.
So if you canceled, though, we'd go back to the way we're doing it today. You would get the sheet, we'd go through every policy. I'd go back, I'd type up all the policies, and I would repost them on the website. But it's not as searchable for
And then
the
Kevin would come to
community.
the meeting and tell us it all looks good.
Yeah. From a cost perspective also, and another thing that was brought up as a potential savings is that right now, right, when we've got questions, legal questions, we go to the lawyers because policy may not be wildly clear, or it may not have the attached administrative processes behind it for whatever reason,
With this, you
right?
could just consult.
Every single time we go to the lawyers has a cost. Lawyers are not inexpensive. So this very likely aligning everything and doing these and making sure that the administrative procedures are updated and aligned with the policies and doing all of this work very likely would decrease the number of times that we would need to go to the lawyers. So paying for itself.
And just so you know, you would still have policy committee meetings. These updates would
Right.
come out, they would just be presented to you on a computer differently. You would see the changes, and then they would go back and update them. So you would still have policy committee meetings for the public.
Makes sense. Can you talk a little bit about, I didn't understand how much of the administrative, I think is the right word, policies of the district are tied into this?
Procedures.
Procedures.
Jack, can you speak to the admin procedures piece of it, or Shannon?
So for every policy, or most policies, there's an administrative procedure behind it. So if there's a student discipline suspension, they have an administrative procedure. And Carla's seen the other side of it too, but I'm trying to think of, they're listed in here too. Most policies, they have procedures, like acceptable use policy. They write up a procedure on the back end, and we use that. And then we could go in, and so if we had a student do something or a staff member do something, we can just type in a keyword and it would pull the procedure up for other admin in the district. Right now we go in, I find the procedure for them, I pull it up, and then I send it to them, and then we all scour through, or we search, because it's not as easy to search, we search through policy and flip through a book, and
we're manually aligning them. Yeah.
But the procedures are in there. The board doesn't approve procedures because we've approved the policy, so the procedure just goes with it.
Right.
And Carla could tell you more maybe about how admin would use it in a building, or Ron, but they would just type in, AI, and every policy that has AI and every administrative procedure that has AI would come up for them.
Okay. All right. That was all my questions.
And the cost right now that we're paying just for the basic subscription is $1,000, and it would go up to around, after all the work was done, to about $6,400.
Yes, per year we would pay the subscription cost for that. Yeah, because then if we subscribe, there's different options too. School board policy online, for them to do it and put it online, there's an additional cost. And then administrative procedures online, there's an additional. So it'd be about $6,300 a year.
And you said with that cost is monetary, but it's also time for board, or the policy committee time to
Well, so the work on the policies is board work.
On board, okay.
So the admin team would have to update their admin procedures, which they do regularly anyway. So, but the specific policy work has to be board work. So it would be like within policy committee meetings, but
The whole board, yes.
the board would really need to commit to doing this work.
So beyond the kind of our yearly board review, it'll be a little bit more.
Yeah, and we can also talk, right, so we're finalizing the board retreat for the end of January. Is there a rush to make this decision, or no? So we have some time, right? So we can talk about this in our board retreat as we think about our goals as a board as well, so.
Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong, but like from the meeting I went to, it really was the plus option that they were talking about really lended itself to as a board, doing a lot of reflection, because you get a lot more feedback, more intensive feedback, and having those discussions then with your board, and then, you know, moving forward from there. Like, that's what at least what I got out of my meeting.
Is there any information that the board would like to see before our next meeting? This is not on the agenda tonight. It's not an approval item. This is just a information item, right?
Right.
So,
I guess-
what information would we like to see?
I guess those options, is that the options come with the cost? Is it like varying if you take certain options? Will it be more or
it's
less?
kind of like a menu option.
Yeah, I guess it's something to review. And I don't know if it has to be a discussion.
I can
but,
put it in the update.
Update as far as a review of those options and what does it cost?
I don't know that it needs to be in the update as much as just on the in the agenda.
It's like
on
either
board
or.
docs the next time we discuss this.
The next time we discuss this, right?
Yeah.
And I think one of the clear takeaways is like, it's not worth doing this if we're not going to make it a priority as a board. That's what you were basically
Yeah.
saying, I think.
It requires a lot of work on our end.
It's gonna be, yeah, and so I think it does make sense to think about this as a decision we make, that we formalize after the retreat.
Yeah.
I really
And I'm
think
sure
so.
that the IASB reps at the retreat will also be able to give us
Feedback on how, yes.
some more like detailed, like really what type of commitment we're talking. It sounds like it's a year process minimum. So this is not something that could begin with next school year. It would be like something that we take on next school year for it
the
to
following one, yeah.
hit the year after. So
Hit 27, 28.
Yeah.
Do they have a demonstration website or something that?
They did.
There's one in this memo here.
Yeah, I'll share it with you.
Okay.
If you go into in the memo that's in the
He probably doesn't have it. Yeah,
in
it
the
probably
board docs,
is.
there's one for unit school, or high school district 128.
Yeah, I'll look.
There's a memo
Yeah.
with a link.
I don't know if that's a demo environment or if that's a real school, I don't know. Probably.
That one actually is a real school. Like I found it online.
Yeah. I was looking at it earlier, it's exactly what you said, like you can just kind of cruise through it.
But I'll send you other links too.
Yeah, and it
that
solidifies
show-
the processes.
That demonstrate what the process is on your side too.
make the practices part of the processes.
Say it 3 times.
I can't believe you can even say that.
I can add another P to that too, somehow. Practices, policies, and procedures.
Is this
Process.
one that you posted, does this have all of the options included in it, or is it
The
just-
memo, that memo does not, but I can get all that to you.
But I mean, this website that this demonstration website from District 128, does that have all the options?
I think that's just one that she found.
That is a,
So this would show board policy online. Administrative procedures we don't publish, so their admin might have it, we don't have it. So we can't see what they're using on the other side. But you know what, I believe there's a link in there, I'll send it to you, or I'll share it with the board about what the administrative procedure side looks like. If I can get one.
Great.
can you just add that to the next? ISB does have information on their website about it also.
Yeah, I'll share it out.
Cool.
How much does it cost? How to use it? Bunch of videos. Great. Any other needs from the Press Plus standpoint? Okay, IASB conference. Who went to a Press Plus thing?
Mine was 2 years ago.
I didn't know that's what I was going to, but that's what I ended up at.
That's funny.
I kind of wish I had more time. Because I also went at the end of, it was on the last day, and it was like, how to present to your board, and great ideas.
For the 2 new members, should we tell them what we're talking about?
Oh,
real
yes.
quick?
Yeah, let's go backwards. Okay.
So every year, it's part of, like someone asked, do you have almost like somewhere where there's training and professional development for the board? This is one great area because it's live in person. And so every year there's a tri-conference. Here's the test. There's, of course, the Illinois Association of School Boards. There is
Administrators.
And business office, they're part, and that's the third.
What are the 3 I's?
No, it's the superintendents and the CSBOs.
Superintendents.
And CSBOs.
Yeah, superintendents.
Triple I.
Okay.
Yeah.
And business associates. So there are boards for all of those heads, and then there's one conference for Illinois every year, same time. You can try to protest if you like, but it's during the same weekend. It's usually the weekend before Thanksgiving. But boards all over the state come, and there are presentations. So there's a side of it that's just inspirational that I've found that they've done a fabulous job. Even 2020, our first year, it was online, and their speaker was great. So it kind of reminds you why you're doing this, very motivational, and gets you kind of pepped up. It's kind of the pep rally. And then there are all kinds of subjects. So they have kind of seminars and workshops and classes on different topics, from policy, finance. They have for the business office, superintendents, how to find, what did other schools do when they were searching for their next superintendent, referendums from experience, so you gain so much from that. And then sometimes a board may present the good work that they've done.
Some might be invited to do that.
So we were invited last year to talk about our process of developing an evaluation tool for our superintendent. So there's just multiple things and multiple topics that are offered. There are also some that you have to start early as one of our things that we try to we want to look early enough because some come with an extra cost. But if it's beneficial, something our board's looking for, you can do that. It's usually Thursday through Sunday.
Yeah, Thursday through Sunday, the weekend before Thanksgiving every year. Boards all across the state. It's our conference.
It's our conference.
It's our learning
school board
conference. So especially as new board members, it is
very valuable.
Really helpful. It's a wonderful opportunity to connect with other board members, but also to see what other boards and districts are doing.
Yes.
Which is one of the things that it's a great learning opportunity.
And it's
a lot
also
about TIFs over there's always stuff. So it's a great conference. Mark your calendars.
Have a representative that has to be present for Illinois Association. We have delegates.
Kevin's wearing the
Thanks,
hat.
Kevin.
Kevin's wearing the hat.
There are recommendations, we give our input, and he is our representative to vote, along with the other Illinois delegates. So a lot of work is done at the time.
Yes. We will talk about it in more detail as we get closer to making the reservations, but no, it's the weekend before Thanksgiving. The reason that they do it that weekend is because it's the celebration of lights, and it's a reason for everybody who doesn't live in the Chicagoland area to come to Chicago and spend a weekend.
All those
all of them.
street closings.
Turn it into it's a family weekend for folks that
It was a great conference.
don't live here.
Super. I learned a lot. I met a lot of people. I got to meet 2 new board members from Maker. Is that how you say it? Maker? Marker. It was a really, I thought, valuable conference.
Yeah, I would just say that as a new school board member, or even after a few years in the school board, we spend all our time looking at our belly buttons, and it's an opportunity to get out there and see just whether it's commiserating or whether it's learning, how another school district tackled a problem, or just the notion that, wow, I'm in this thing, and it's not just here in Westmont. It's super helpful.
Yeah.
Super helpful. In fact, I didn't go this year. I wasn't able to go this year, and I didn't think I was going to miss it, and I missed it. I missed it.
Yeah. There's not a lot of benefits to this job that we volunteer to do. This conference is a benefit.
I'll get with that.
I do want to present it better and share some of the slides. One thing I will try to get, because they, in their feedback, they said they would have slides for every thing, and it wasn't quite that way.
Oh, no, they never have for
And it was just like, oh, just look at the slides, don't take pictures of this. So they didn't have that for everyone, even though they said that. And so I used the app a little bit better with my notes, but I don't know if there's an opportunity that there are topics that I can come back and share, but I do want to give, our community a little bit of what I got. So I get a lot out of the general sessions, and those are the inspirational pep rallies. They find like people who have a message for us, and they do a really good job of saying, having their experience relate to our why. And so there are a lot from the first session was from a person that was I was there with you, me. Oh, that
jail
was,
guy?
She's in the armed forces. She was a pilot. She, that was you? No, I can't remember.
I went to the next one with the jail guy.
But that, like, the things that motivated her, and like some of her theme I thought was pertinent for us. Not that we'll take them, but her theme of her talk was one mission, one goal, one team. And I was like, that's us. And I like her statement that she centered her talk around was this: we acknowledge the obstacles, but we don't give them power. So just looking at all the different things that we go through and how we stay motivated and not just to like trudge in like the negative sides of things. And I like something else she said, just like if you want to think about your contribution or what it means to be a part of something, she asked the question, how do people feel when you walk into the room? As like how you contribute to the board and other people you work with. So it was a lot of that, and a lot I think about with Mr. Balderman, Dr. Balderman, I'm sorry. One thing she said at the end is like, we're not here to do 99% of the work. We're trying to go all the way. So while we're doing great things in our district, it's great, but we're not here for the 99%. We're here to get 100% of our students successful, graduation, all of that. So I took that. I'll let anybody else jump in while I find my next notes, because it's not.
No, okay. I went to that same motivational session. I thought she was really inspirational. But that was my favorite part, honestly. I went to a session, AI in Education, and it was, to me, exciting. It's like a tool of the future to see what other school districts are doing. I emailed superintendent of a local district that was presenting, and I got the slideshow. I was going to email you. I'll do that today. And it was like the ethical use of AI, what the students can use it for, what they shouldn't use it for. But then I got an email from our own district from Sergio Gonzalez, my son's literacy teacher, the use of Magic School AI, and I loved it. His email, it was great. I was excited to read this. Usually, I'll be honest, I'm not. This one really excited me. It was what the students could use it for, what they should use it for, what they shouldn't use it for. It should support their thinking, not replace it. I love that idea. It shouldn't do the work for them. So we are, to some extent, using it in our district, and I want to see more use of that in our district. I think we shouldn't shy away from it. I will forward that slide deck to you, Jack.
Thank you. Thank you.
And then I went to the delegate assembly, and it was just. To me, it was interesting. I heard
there were no desks this year.
What's that?
I heard there was no table in front.
There was no tables, no.
Not a big topic of controversy is what I heard.
Yeah, it was. But I thought it was interesting, there was like two lines, one for opposed, one for, and there was members on the same school board in opposing lines. And I think they just wanted to argue back and forth. Like, it's like, it's nice that we're kind of cohesive, can be civil, in our disagreements, and still
constructive.
So, it's kind of seeing in public a school board kind of going at each other, so it's not a good thing. But.
I went to I only went Saturday and Sunday. So Saturday I went to Damian West speaking his big speech, and it was about being the coffee bean, which it was a little bit long-winded, his overall speech, but it was a good speech. He basically like screwed his whole life up and went to jail, ended up getting out, and one of the things that helped him get out was this guy gave him advice about when you get to jail, you can either be the egg, the carrot, or the coffee bean, and when you put those three in boiling water, the carrot gets soft, the egg gets hard, and the coffee bean is the only thing that changes the surroundings. And so we want you to be the coffee bean where you're changing your surroundings of, your community and things like that. He had much more to say, obviously, but that was the summary of it. He wrote a famous book and travels and all that stuff. Then I went to a couple conferences about like parent hat, board member hats, so it's kind of personal stuff. The Policy 101 meeting. I went to another one about just like situational, what would you do in this scenario, which it was some district from the north, and they were auctioning off or they were giving away prizes of like things from their town. So it was like fine china and like chocolate from their town. Like, I don't know, it was like silly stuff, but like, it was fun. It was a fun one. And it was all just like situational things that had actually happened to their board in years past, and how would you respond as a board member? And then I think
situationals are crazy.
Yeah, some of them are crazy.
Truly, every year I try to hit something where it's like situationals of like other districts, and I'm like, we're fine.
Yeah,
we're so fine.
Then you had to even figure out, was it an actual real life scenario? Were they making it up? Like,
yeah, right.
They were not. They were all real scenarios. And then the last one I went to, which I think is probably the most relevant, is two failed referendums. What's next? And there was a lot of good ideas, I think, that came from that. It was from a town in kind of central Illinois, a bigger district than ours. And really, like, the main takeaways that I took away from them was their community was going to continue to vote no until they saw on the board and school side that they were willing to make cuts. And so both referendums failed until they made cuts. Once those cuts were made and people were unhappy with those cuts, like they lost band. And people were, I guess they said they were in a they were in a 5-hour-long board meeting that just discussed keeping or getting rid of middle school band. And after those cuts were made, and the community realized, I think, the impact of those cuts. Again, it wasn't immediate. It was an immediate turnaround that things got better. There were things with salary. Teachers took a salary freeze in that district. Again, I'm not advocating for or against that. That's just what happened. Then finally, the community got together and passed a referendum. So, yeah, just some takeaways that I think we might want to talk about are, like, on our end, what are the cuts we're willing to make to show good faith. And I know in the board, updates and things like that, we're talking about kind of next steps and moving forward with repairs and things like that. So just to keep those things in mind. But yeah, they eventually got it passed.
So the last few things I'll try to get more information for, but I did go to recruiting, hiring, retaining diverse leaders of color. And one thing that stood out there, so I have some slides from that just showing like percentages of in Illinois, like what like representation as far as student population to admin to superintendents. But one thing I took notes on that stood out right now is like a question they asked, what does your website show as you attract diverse people? And so people, like, they talked about the statement that people give, like, oh, we don't attract anyone, or no one comes, and so that's one one thing to do, to look at, I guess, is your website when you're showing your kids and you're showing your admin. What are you showing? What is your picture? And you can say, you can, come up with that, but think about that it's intentional, and letting you know, like prospects to look at their representation when they're looking for places to go. They talked about things that we've talked about here too, like your community and giving incentive for your own students to come back. Looking at your Westmont, that's a huge thing as you see your results of your teaching and all of that education when students come back to work in the district that they're from. So lots of things I can give on that and share with the board, standardizing the recruitment process, being transparent about compensation, a lot of things like that I felt was helpful. And one other thing I wanted to hit was our communicate financials with clarity and confidence. So I attended that, or they do have a handout with that, but there was, I know something I wanted to ask Ron is something that one of the districts, they post kind of like I'm gonna get this wrong, a finance score, or it's like something that pops up on their website that looks at your funds, and I'll get that title. It looks at your fund, it's just like, it's a graph or a point that shows where you are, what you're doing, but it's something that is not too difficult to explain, but I thought it was something great that that IASB does or provides, that they give a score to every district, and it shows how well you're doing. And it's something that you can put on your website that says, these are the 3 things we look at, and here's where we lie, and you can do it year to year. But it's something that helps with your community. I just thought it was something that was good, and I was going to ask, I wonder what our score was, so they gave different examples, and I'll get that exact number, so you're like, what do you see? What that term was. And I just thought it was a communication piece that we always ask. People are asking, how well are we doing? Or there are claims that maybe we're not doing as well, but it's one area. And so will people want more information about what that means? Will they want deeper, just like our facilities? Yeah, but it's a tool that they have for all these districts in Illinois, and is it something we could use? That was it. The last thing was taking it home and kind of providing that feedback for everyone in a succinct way. And if the board wants more details about different things that we saw, then yeah, we can do that.
So what you were just talking about, was that Illinois State Board of Education? Was it recognition, review, early warning, watch?
No.
School district financial profile?
Maybe that was a financial profile. Yeah. Yeah,
there's like 4 categories. Yeah, I'll send you a link.
Okay.
Cool. Are we good?
Yes.
Okay. It's 8:30, so I want to be cognizant, and we got some action items to roll through, close up this meeting. Any other notes on the IASB conference? Okay, moving on to the action items. The chair will entertain a motion to adopt the resolution setting the 2025 tax levy as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Mr. Marin.
Yes.
Ms. Mill.
Yes.
Mr. Horman.
Abstain.
Ms. Franklin.
Yes.
Ms. Conover.
Yes.
Dr. Hoover.
Yes.
Mr. Avia.
Yes.
The chair will entertain a motion to approve the Suburban School Cooperative Insurance Pool Insurance Renewal and Cyber Program in the combined amount of $185,013 as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Ms. Mill.
Yes.
Mr. Horman.
Yes.
Ms. Franklin.
Yes.
Ms. Conover.
Yes.
Dr. Hoover.
Yes.
Mr. Avia.
Yes.
Mr. Marin.
Yes.
And just a reminder, that one is a standard that hits us typically every December at this time. It's just our yearly renewal. The chair will entertain a motion to authorize and direct the treasurer to pay bills received in December 2025 for the 2026 fiscal year as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Mr. Horman.
Abstain.
Ms. Franklin.
Abstain.
Ms. Conover?
Yes.
Dr. Hoover?
Yes.
Mr. Avia?
Yes?
Mr. Marin?
Yes.
Ms. Mill?
Yes.
Motion passes. Dr. Balderman, Superintendent's
Dr. Balderman,
report.
That's right.
Congratulations.
Dr. Superintendent's report.
Hi, everybody. So one thing I want to share with you that Edith wanted me to present is this page that you have that is featured in Westmont Living Magazine.
Very excited to see.
Pardon?
I was very excited to see from
Yes. So it's
My
a
Miller.
little write-up, and it highlights some of the achievements, but it also talks about the state superintendent who visited and was very positive about the things we've accomplished in 201. More work to be done, but recognized. So there's some nice information here, Westmont Living. The other thing that I'm really excited about, that it continues to be something that we work on, you have a copy of this. This is a save the date. And a group of our leaders in the district are working on these conferences. So the AP conference is going to be May 18th. It'll be the 12th time we've done it. We didn't do it during the COVID years, but we've done it the last 12 years. It is a fantastic opportunity. We literally have about 80 different high schools come from the area. Usually about 450 or more teachers attend. It's free professional development for our teachers, especially as Singleton teachers. They need to connect with other teachers who teach what they teach from all over the region. So it's a lot of great learning. It also, this is not the purpose of it, but it generates a little bit of revenue for the district that we use for things for our students and our staff. But that'll be the 12th time we've done it, May 18th. This is something we're doing for the first time on June 2nd. The conference title is Expect Greatness, Empowering All Students with a Focus on Latino and Multilingual Learners. The keynote speaker is going to be Dr. Luis Cruz. He's a national presenter, very charismatic, highly respected and sought after. We'll also have the Teacher of the Year, Victor Gomez, presenting, and then some of our own people, Edith, Mary Kassir, Carla Braun, Dr. Braun, Steph Just from Manning, Anna Jakubowski, and some of our other teachers are going to present at this conference. So it really should be, and it'll be open to schools, and the initial interest is pretty strong from other districts. And it'll, once again, be great staff development, great professional development, and it'll end up being at no cost to the district, but great benefit for our people. The June 4th, all in, every role, every voice, leadership and action. Janelle Keating, who's one of the top superintendents in the country, recently retired, but now she's one of the top trainers of superintendents in the whole nation. She'll be the keynote speaker, and then once again, a series of our leaders will be presenting at that conference. So those are going to be positive coming up in the near future. The other thing I want to share is information that we have never presented before that just recently became available. And this is the challenge that I put to our administrative team, their homework over the break. And I'll be pretty succinct here. And I would give this to anybody in the community, any board members interested. There's these databases that we've obtained of the performance in multiple categories of all the schools throughout Illinois. We wouldn't put them in paper, but we would give anybody electronically these databases. And the challenge I put to our team was, show me a district that's performing at a higher level than 201. I don't think one exists. Certainly, there's a finite number, 852 districts. Maybe there's 3 or 4, so that would still put us in the top 1%. But overall performance. But there's some new data that came up that Dr. Braun obtained from this group ECRA that the community has not seen, that I think is the most important data we've ever uncovered. The purpose, I would like to think of all of our meetings, from board meetings to the weekly meetings that the teams have to our administrative meetings, is student growth. What is more important than growing our students' learning? That has got to be priority one. So there's some data that we have that's new that I want to share with you. We know that Miller went from the 51st percentile to the 93rd percentile. Amazing. One of the most improved schools in the state. We know that Manning went from the 63rd to the 98.5th percentile. Amazing. We know that junior high went from the 50th percentile to the 99th percentile. This is the Illinois State Board of Education, and the high school has been in the top 5% every year in the last 7 to 8 years that the state is ranked. But not only have we shown incredible growth through the years in ELA and math, but this is the slide that really is mind-blowing to me. And it comes from Illinois State Board of Education, but there's a group called ECRA that disaggregates all the data and performance of all the schools in the state of Illinois. So, proficiency for ELA 3 through 12, we were in the top 9%. For math proficiency, in the top 7%. Pretty impressive. That's great. But here's where it really gets exciting, because proficiency, we know that these exams are measured on a bell curve, they're normed, and they have certain biases in them. But the growth is what really is most powerful. Take a look at the growth. And we're not competing against other schools in the state, but we have to have some kind of a context for what all these numbers mean. So our ELA from 3 to 8th was in the top 3% in Illinois. The growth for our kids. Proficiency, important. Growth, more important. And this is data we had not had. The Illinois State Report Card does not give this kind of a comparison. But this company, ECRA, goes through all the data throughout the state and then puts these numbers together. The math growth is at the 98th percentile, 3 through 8. So top 2% in the state for growth. The high school ELA is in the top 1% in Illinois. And math growth, top 1% in Illinois. That's just unprecedented. That's why I would challenge anybody. I've challenged our admin team. Find me the schools that are doing it better. And then my idea is, let's go to those schools, invite them to our district, and we have a meeting of the minds and learn from the very best. I don't think there are many schools that can compare to this, if any at all. But this is new data we have not had until recently. Dr. Braun contracted ECRA. We had to pay them $2,000 to get all this information, but it gives us a context for performance. Chronic absenteeism, top 1% in the state. And these were our goals. ELA, math growth, and remember we said no more than 5 absences. That was something that we took on as a district. And from Sam and her team, from all the administrative assistants to the nurses, to the teachers, to the admin, top 1% in Illinois for chronic absenteeism. That is really powerful information. We thought we were the best. This verifies it. And this isn't our opinion or our evidence. This comes from the Illinois State Board of Education and from ECRA. So it's not just growth in learning, it's not just attendance, but also the 5 essentials, which is our customer satisfaction survey that is taken by teachers, students, and parents. For effective leaders, we're in the top 3%. For collaborative teachers, top 1%. For involved families, top 1%. And ambitious instruction district-wide in the top 3%. You combine all of those things, and there's other data and rankings too, like Chicago Magazine that says we got the best middle school in DuPage County. But whether it's growth, attendance, customer satisfaction, University of Chicago, Illinois State Board of Education, ECRA, we are one of the top achieving districts, and it's something that is only achieved when you have from Board of Education to admin, teacher union, teachers, support staff, students, parents, and communities rowing together. And as I said, some of this information we're familiar with, but the new information about the growth, which I think is the most important data, puts us in the top 1, 2, 3% in Illinois. So I'm very proud of what the team has accomplished. We obviously have more work to do, and that's something we focus on every day. But this is unprecedented. And I put the challenge to anybody who's interested. Scour over the data the way that we have, that I have. Find a district that's doing it better. I don't think there are many. If there are, we're going to invite them to our house and learn from them. So I'm very proud as we close out this first semester. We finished another board meeting with no major discipline incidents in closed session. That's also important, the way our students treat each other, in addition to all these other markers. So it's been a great semester. I hope everybody enjoys the holiday break. And then on January 5th, we're going to come back and hit it hard again. So, thank you.
Board reports.
I just want to say great job to all of our schools and their concerts for the holiday. No, you'll have something else to add, but congratulations and great work to all of our students participating. And I do want to correct myself for Ron, as I asked for information and give the term I was talking about was the school district financial profile score, and it comes from ISB, not IASB. So there are different categories. I can present more of that and see if that's something our board wants to do. But it was an interesting talk. So I wonder where we lie with that.
I'm pretty confident that at least for the last 10 years, we've been in the highest category.
Yeah. And I like it as a score. That's something we can promote with that. So.
Any other board reports for the evening?
Just band concerts last week, junior high, high school. The students sounded great, you know, a lot of talented musicians and a lot of band and choir, excuse me. Choir sounded great also. Shout out to Mr. Troyer, Mr. Kaprowski, Mrs. Biederman, and Mr. Erlab. You know, the choir and band, they sound great. So, talented students.
And the craft show.
Yeah, and the craft show. Yeah, the craft show went well.
I think it was another successful year.
Yes.
And I think there was a report given yesterday, just as a congratulations with all the great work those parents do, our parent participation, but they have 40 vendors already booked for next year.
Awesome.
So it's just a testament to what they do and what their students do.
Okay. Moving on to public comment. Do we have any public comment? We do not. And future meetings and events. Winter break starts December 22nd and goes through January 2nd of 2026. I don't know if anybody else has received 47 text messages or not, but this Friday, PLC dismissal. Heads up. Might get a couple more texts. I love them. I love them. Teacher Institute on January 5th, which is a no attendance day, no student attendance day. Teachers will be in attendance. And our next CUSD 201 regular meeting of the Board of Education, right back here, January 13th at 6:30 p.m. It'll be exciting. Be here, be square. Any other current information and communications? Then the chair will entertain a motion to adjourn the December 16th regular meeting of the Board of Education.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.